Let's go to number 14. Consider g of x equals this quadratic function, x less than or equal to k. Find the largest value of k so that inverse of g of x exists. For this quadratic function, a equals 1 over 2 greater than 0. The graph opens up. We need to figure out this vertex hk so that we can figure out the largest value of k. We know for g of x equals 1 over 2x squared plus 3x minus 5. A equals 1 over 2. B equals 3. C equals negative 5. For h equals negative b over 2a, negative 3 over 2 times 1 over 2. That equals negative 3. K equals f of negative 3. Plug negative 3 into g function. You will get 1/2 negative 3 squared plus 3 times negative 3 minus 5 equals 9 over 2 minus 14. Because negative 9 minus 5 is negative 14. So we have 9 over 2 minus 28 over 2 equals negative 19 over 2. For this graph, the vertex is negative 3, negative 19 over 2. The largest value of k will be negative 3. Because when k equals negative 3, x less than or equal to negative 3 is this part of a graph. It will be one-to-one function. Let's go to B. For the value of k, find the inverse of g of x and state the domain and range of it. Remember, we got to use the escape button. Exchange x, y, then solve for y. Change y into inverse symbol. This is a g function. Before we do that, we have to change g of x into vertex form. Since we already get this is h, here's k. The vertex form is a times x minus h squared plus k. A from g of x, we know that is 1/2. So we write down 1 over 2 x plus 3 squared minus 19 over 2. First step, exchange x, y. So we have x equals 1 over 2 y plus 3 squared minus 19 over 2. Isolate the y plus 3 squared first. So we cross the river, change the sign. X plus 19 over 2 equals 1/2 y plus 3 squared. Then multiply by 2 both sides. You will get 2x plus 19 equals y plus 3 squared. Then square root both sides. While you solve for y squared equals x, you will do square root both sides. Then y equals square root of x when y greater than or equal to 0. When y less than or equal to 0, you will get y equals negative square root of x. If possible, remember this as a formula. you need to check y plus 3 is a positive or negative. G of x, the domain is x less than or equal to negative 3. Since we switch x, y, for inverse function, the y is less than or equal to negative 3. Cross river change sign, y plus 3 less than or equal to 0. Therefore, you will get the y plus 3 equals, we will put the negative sign before this square root, 2x plus 19. Then cross the river change sign, you will get the y equals negative square root 2x plus 19, then minus 3. Last step, change y into inverse symbol. So inverse g of x equals negative square root 2x plus 19 minus 3. Since for g of x, the domain is given, we know the range will be y less than or equal to negative 3. For original function g of x, we know the range is y greater than or equal to negative 19 over 2. So we can find the domain for this inverse function will be x greater than or equal to negative 19 over 2. Or you can figure out the domain using this square root function. For square root, for the domain, we will set up a radicand 2x plus 19 greater than or equal to 0. You solve, you will get the x greater than or equal to negative 19 over 2. Now let's go to C. Find the inverse of g of negative 3. Remember, we know y equals f of x. The inverse, it will be x equals the inverse of y. So the domain and the range will be switched. In other words, whenever you say inverse function, you will get x. Then you can do g of both sides. This cancel, you will get negative 3 equals g of x. Where you have inverse of g of negative 3. This negative 3 is y, not x. Since we already figured out this inverse function, you can just plug into inverse function to figure out the value. But I want to show you using the original function. You can just make 1 over 2x squared plus 3x minus 5 equals negative 3 to figure out this x. Make sure this x is less than or equal to negative 3. Since this is a quadratic function, try to get equal 0 form. So add 3 both sides. 1 over 2x squared plus 3x minus 2 equals 0. Multiply by 2 both sides. Because we want to get rid of this denominator, you will get the x squared plus 6x minus 4 equals 0. Since we cannot factor, you have to use a quadratic formula. X equals negative b is negative 6 plus or minus square root b squared minus 4ac. 36 minus 4 times negative 4 is a plus 16 over 2. You will get negative 6 plus or minus square root of 52 over 2. For square root of 52, it can divide it by 4. 4 times 13. So simplify 2 square root of 13. We will get negative 6 plus or minus 2 square root of 13 over 2. Then divided by 2, you will get negative 3 plus or minus square root of 13. Since x is less than or equal to negative 3, therefore, the x will be negative 3 minus the square root of 13. This will be the solution for x. In other words, for inverse of g of negative 3 will be negative 3 minus the square root of 13. If you plug negative 3 into inverse g of x, you will get same answer.